Okay. Good morning, everyone. We're live, and welcome to another episode of our live session at Lifting Stripes Initiative (LSI). I think this is the first session we'll be having in the year 2026. So, happy New Year, guys!
Ooh.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year!
Year.
My voice is going to be a little bit husky because I am suffering from cold, flu,
Oh,
but I'm
sorry.
good. And also, we have a guest in house today. She's not strange or new to LSI. She's been here before, and she also supports us with having to put together our accounting for free. So thank you so much for all that you do for us. Yeah, we have to appreciate those that are supporting us behind the scenes. So thank you so much for all that you do for us.
My
And I will allow
pleasure.
her introduce herself. Yeah, over to you.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here again. My name is Tony. I'm an accountant, a CPA, and financial planner. And I'm so excited to talk about all things college funding today. And let's get the gears moving for our kids' college education.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you
for
so much.
having me.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for being here. I also needed to also apologize because I was supposed to have this earlier on, and we had to cancel because of, you know, the way it is. The weather has been. We all understand how the weather has
I
been
know.
lately, and
We've gotten a lot of snow this year. It's
yeah,
been
and all that.
crazy.
So, yes, we are here to speak about everything funding for higher education, colleges, university, and interestingly, and I was just, when I saw the headline this week, I was telling Tony when I first saw it, I'm like, I saw something on OSAP about the premier, putting a hold on OSAP. I
Yep.
wasn't sure at the time, but I saw it somewhere, and I said to Tony, I said something is going on OSAP. I don't have a verified information, but I think they're reducing or cutting or something.
Yeah, they're reducing the grant portion.
And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe God actually, made us,
Was prepping us.
postpone so that, it would also make a lot of sense to people because this was what
Yeah.
we were trying to talk about a couple of weeks back and we had to
Mm-hmm.
postpone. And now just in like 3 weeks, a lot has happened. A lot has happened.
Yeah.
So yes, we'll jump into it straight on. We're talking everything financing uh, for our kids as they begin to consider post-secondary school education. Now, the reason why I think this is very important is because as African parents, from where we come from, it's easy peasy. We do 100% funding for our
Yeah.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
Higher education is not a big deal because we can afford it if you have a good job averagely,
Yeah.
and you're able to take care of your kids' higher education. Now,
Yeah.
in Canada, things are different. Educational funding, elementary school, high school is free,
Yeah.
right? And I think because of that, sometimes we parents would also do not really put a lot of
We
attention
forget.
to post-secondary school funding because we're
Yeah.
just so comfortable with, oh, we didn't pay for primary school, we didn't pay for secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it gets to almost when they're about to get to to finish or conclude secondary school, then we begin to now run helter skelter. How do I fund? What do I do?
Mm.
And
Mm.
we then get the shocker because the truth is OSAP everywhere. Is everybody
Mm.
qualified for OSAP? That
Mm.
is the big question mark. And even if
Yeah.
I'm qualified for OSAP, how much have I qualified for?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we begin to now talk of other means of funding. If I am not qualified for OSAP,
What do
so
I do?
what do I do? Because I also kind of think that there's a miscommunication somewhere where or lapse of education because when we come in as adult immigrants, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
us access OSAP. We
Mm.
access OSAP at the time where most of us are not working or we're working
Mm.
and getting minimal pay,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's easier for us to access OSAP at that point. I would just assume that because we're able to access it at that time, then everybody is actually
At the
um,
same level of
qualified
qualification and
for OSAP.
eligibility,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say more. And for those of you hearing me call OSAP, Tony would give us more information on what I am referring to. And I know that other people from other province might not um, see it as OSAP.
As OSAP,
Yes,
yeah.
they call it as
So
OSAP. So
yeah.
please go ahead, Tony.
So the first thing, my sister has said, is OSAP, or the provincial student aid. So OSAP is the Ontario Student Aid Program, and in Alberta we have the Alberta Student Aid, the BC Student Aid, and then Quebec has its own version of support. So every province has some kind of support that they give to help people go for post-secondary education. Now, the big deal, like she has mentioned, is that these provincial aid programs are means tested. And when I say means tested, it is that the government assumes that the parents should contribute in some way to their child's post-secondary education. So when we just came, like she mentioned, we were number one, maybe you report your previous year's income, and that was naira, right? And you convert it to Canadian dollars, and it's next to nothing. And so it's like, oh, you didn't really make a lot of money last year, so you qualify for $10,000 OSAP grant and another 20 something thousand dollars OSAP loan. And so we thought, okay, this is some good money my kid would be able to use for college funding. But that's like maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the line, and you've made progress, like we all pray to, right? You now have a good job, your spouse has a good job, you're earning together as a family maybe more than 100K, and now your child needs to go to college or university and you apply for OSAP. What happens at that point is the government says, okay, if you're earning 150K as a family and your expenses, mortgage, everything maybe comes to like 50K, I'm just picking figures here. There's some room in there for you to chip in for your child's education. So we're going to reduce the grant portion, or maybe no grant, sometimes no grant, depending on the family income level. And then we're going to give you the option to take the loan portion of the program, right? So that's the point when you're discovering, oh boy, there is no free money for my kid. It's a loan. The loan part of this program is not all bad because it is one of the cheapest loans you can find, right? The interest rate on OSAP is usually ridiculously low, depending on what the Bank of Canada sets the rate at, the overnight interest rate at, right? So it's usually ridiculously low compared to your line of credit or any other loan out there. So it's not all bad, but the free money disappears for some of us who are making good income, which is what we all work towards and aspire to. And so that's what becomes a surprising element for people when they realize that that 10,000 or thereabout of free money that they were banking on for at least the first year of college education has disappeared. And then that's when we go into panic mode. So I just want to set the record straight to say, first, to know what you might qualify for, when you go to the OSAP or your provincial program website to maybe start applying for education funding, or to at least get an idea, you're able to answer some questions, put in what you earn, what are your expenses, and then it's going to give you an estimate of what you could qualify for. But because you can't start, let's say your child is, maybe your kids are like mine, they're still 9 and 6, and I don't know what the fee is going to be now at the time they're going to go to school. I don't know how much I'm going to be making at that time. So I might not be able to estimate what my OSAP funding grant or loan would be today. I don't even know what the government policy will be at the time my kids are ready to go to school. So that makes it, even though it's foundational, it makes it something you can't really plan around. I don't know if you agree with me, right? Because for some of us, it's still so far into the future, and there's a lot of politics into some of these things. So these policies don't stay the same over a decade, over 5 years, just like we saw, like she mentioned some minutes ago, right? So even though it's foundational, I would say it is not the best it's not the best rock to build. Like it's not the solid rock to build the plan for college funding for our kids on, because a lot of it is not in our control.
Thank
That's
you.
that's my opinion.
Thank you so much for saying that. And also just to chip in that it is very, very possible that you are not even qualified for a penny, a dollar.
Yeah,
Now, depending on, like Tony have said, depending on what you make as family income. I've heard families that um it's time for their kids to, start post-secondary school, and they found out that they weren't qualified for anything
yeah.
because the family income was a little bit higher. So when you're talking of the 200s, and that's income combined, right?
Together, yeah.
Together, then you might
You
not be
don't even qualify for anything
for
because
anything.
there's no
Home
reason for the
loan,
government to take taxpayers' money
yeah,
to support people who are doing well. And I
high
know,
earners.
I
Exactly.
know it might sound crazy, like, but I'm one of the taxpayers.
I
And
know.
they take a lot of my money in taxes. So that might pinch and hurt a little, but
Yeah, it is what it is. It is
it
what it
is the
is.
way it is.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you had mentioned that your kids are still young, 5, 9, or 6, 9, and you might not have an accurate kind of, okay, I'm thinking ahead, far ahead of 6, 7 years. But I think information like this then begin to get you to a point where you're able to plan as a family that,
Yeah.
okay, based on my income right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we are projecting that we continue to fall under that
Do
category
well.
of high
Mm-hmm.
earners. So by the
Mm-hmm.
time my kids are starting university or college, there's a
Yeah.
probability that we will not qualify for any
That's
of
what I
this
would say,
funding.
right? So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you know what? Let's say OSAP is zero. What do we do?
What
I
next?
think that's the safest, strongest foundation to put it on.
Yeah.
If government doesn't put in a change in terms of provincial funding, what is our plan?
Exactly. And I see, a lot of debate going on here and there this week because our premier did make, the announcement of it's not going to be higher loan and lesser grant. And I think the
Mm-hmm.
grant is the free money that you
That is the
just
free
need.
money.
It's free money you don't have to pay back, right? And the loan is the one where you have to pay back with interest. So there's a
Yeah.
lot, there've been a lot of pushback from
Hmm.
parents, from students, that feel that this is not, this is not what they want. But like Tony said, there are policies that can also be changed. How,
There's a lot
how,
of politics that goes into this thing.
yeah,
Do I
how
want
we
to win
show,
re-election,
yeah,
or what did I promise my constituency or people when I was being
yeah.
elected? So
And how are we sure that in the next 5 years there's even going to be
it's
any
there's going to
provincial
be
funding at
any,
all? So
yeah.
we actually have to now begin to think ahead of time on what next. And that brings us
Because
to,
to
yeah, you want to say
RESP.
something? Yes,
No,
yes.
that's it. It's that it is not in our control.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's not a very smart thing for us to plan on things that are not in our control. There is nothing we can do about it. If they take it away, if they give it, we're grateful. That would be a good solid extra, right?
yeah,
But if they don't, there's nothing we can do. So let's move on to number two. Which one can we do something about?
yeah.
And yeah, and that takes us to the RESP. The
So
RESP is the Registered Education Savings Plan. Did you want to say something?
yeah, I wanted you to tell us what RSP actually meant, because sometimes
Yeah,
the acronyms in this Canada,
I know there
everything
are
is
too
acronym.
many.
Yeah,
Too
so
many. My kids go RSP, TFSA because they watch some of my videos, right? I don't even know what that means. I'm like, so RESP is the Registered Education Savings Plan, and it is a plan. It's a federal plan, so it's the same for everybody across provinces. The RESP is a tax sheltered account, right? And where the government also adds grants when you save. So so when you put money in the RESP, the government adds 20% on your first $2,500 each year. And the maximum, and it's 20%, like the maximum yearly grant is $500 per child. So that's like 20% of 2,500. That's $500. And the lifetime grant maximum per child is 7,200. So again, the gifts we are being given, which is good to take advantage of, still is not a lot when you consider the 3-year, 4-year education, that your child might want to have. And we're not even talking about degrees or the different kind of degrees here. We'll get into that. So the maximum you can get per child is 7,200, and the maximum per year is $500. That's 20% of the first 2,500. Now, when you first like when you first when you first open the RESP, you can open an RESP with a regular bank, you can open it with Wealthsimple or any of the like digital online banks, right? So it's no longer just the top 5 banks that you can do that with. When you first do that, they would do the whole Canada Education Savings Grant form. Whoever is opening it for you will do all that and apply for it, and then it is put, that initial one is put in the child's account. And then going forward, it depends on your percentage of contribution. And that is where what I was saying earlier about what is in our control again becomes important. Because even though there is a 20% on the first 2,500, or there's a maximum 7,200, if you are not putting money in the RESP, you're not getting that portion, right? It's a percentage of what you are putting aside for your child. Another thing to note is that the RESP itself is not tax deductible, unlike RRSP. So you're not going to say, oh, I put 5K in my child's RESP from the money I made last year, so CRA should allow it on my taxes. No, it's not tax deductible. But any growth that happens in that account is not taxable. And that's where the tax sheltering comes in, right? So whatever funds you've invested those monies in over 5, 10, even 15 or 20 years, well, it's not going to be up to 20. We're going to need the money at 18. So 15 years, maybe, or 17 years, depending on when you started. Whatever investment growth it has accrued is not taxable as long as you use that money for education. And the beautiful thing about what you can use the RESP money for is it doesn't have to be only university or college. It can be any skill, any post-secondary skill. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
Like
so I'm
trades.
like trades, like cooking school, like what are those people, the emergency people, the 911 guys, I don't remember what their career
The
is,
paramedics.
the paramedics, whatever it is, and the accommodation, books, anything related to that education, you
Mm-hmm.
can use the money for it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's another beautiful thing of which some of us might know of. If you have more than one child and you're doing like a pooled RESP for the 2 kids, and maybe one kid decides not to go to school, you can use all that money for the second kid's education, right? Or post
Yeah.
or whatever is ancillary to that education, for the child to be in school. So that's the beautiful thing about RESP, is that it can be there growing, compounding. And if you've watched any of my videos, I don't know if I can say that enough. Compounding is the secret magical power we all have if we put in our money on time into funds that are able to grow and multiply for us. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
Thank you so much for breaking that down in the most simplest way, because it took me a while to understand. I'm always, saying to my, what is our RESP, SSP? What
Oh,
can you just
too many
explain? And
peas.
it's trying to exactly too many R's and the P's. So thank you so much for breaking that down. And I also do notice that a lot of us African parents, we come in, at a pretty, older age where
Yep.
our kids are in the teens, in the preteens, and like you said, we only have this opportunity up till the age of 18,
Yeah.
right? And in that situation where we're not able to put that much aside or save
Hmm.
that much money. Another thing
Hmm.
is, even though some of us come in early enough, the first 2, 3, 4 years, we're
We're
still
trying to settle.
struggling and try to settle, to
Yeah.
get a good job, to be
Yeah.
able to afford, the basic things of life. So for us, it's a struggle to, remove whatever it is and just put it aside for this purposes, even though we know how important it is now,
Hmm.
right? So yes, we do realize that this RESP does exist. We do realize that it's a amazing way to save for your kids post secondary school education.
Yeah.
But in a situation where we're not able to max the opportunity that we have,
Hmm.
then what other options can we
So
look at?
yeah. So even before, I'm going to take us just a teeny step back before we even go into other options and in terms of the affordability thing. And this is I'm going to say something you said to me when we got to Canada before I became a financial planner, right? Because having some systems in place can help us sometimes with the affordability. I'm sure a lot of us have heard pay yourself first, pay yourself first. When we just got to Canada, what you said to me was, you know what, this RESP thing, the Canada Child Benefits that comes for your kids, maybe take some of it the moment it is landing, even if it's not all of it, take some of it and throw it into their RESP. It's their money anyway, So if mentally, because a lot of these things are also mental, if mentally you have written a portion of the Canada Child Benefit for the people that receive it and said, it's not my money, it's for their education and their future. I mean, I'm going to feed my kids anyway. So the money I'm getting from the government is just extra because it is my duty, and we are very solid in that awareness as Africans. It is our duty to take care of our kids.
Mhm.
So if you can position that child benefit as extra money, and whenever it lands, it is automatically 200 $300 out of it is automatically taken and go and taken into the RESP account and invested. Those are little ways we can help ourselves with affordability issues, just to create that habit of putting that money there. And any amount is better than zero. I can't say that enough. 50, 100, 150, 125 is better than zero, right? Okay. Then also, another beautiful thing about the RESP is, let's say the child doesn't go to college or doesn't want post-secondary education. What happens is that the government takes the grant portion back, just the grant portion. And then you are allowed to take some of that money and put in your RRSP.
Mm.
Yeah. So everything doesn't automatically just become taxable. Some of it can help you with your retirement. So in a way, you're not missing out by putting that money aside, you know. Okay.
Mm.
That's
Thanks for bringing. I didn't know that you could also convert some of it to
Yeah, you
your
can move some of it to your
RSP.
RRSP
So
if the child doesn't use it.
that's cool. I,
I
I
think
can
so.
I can bet you that average Nigerian, I'm Nigerian,
We'll
uh,
go to school.
will go to school. So the child will use
We'll
it
go to
by fire
school.
by force. So that one I can promise you. But I also wanted to I wanted to ask because I'd said earlier that, and I pointed out that sometimes we're not able to do these things when we're meant to start for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
I know of, struggles when people come in, and even that childcare benefit, like you said, right? Some people
yeah.
just depend on it for a lot of things.
To make up the
So,
rest. I know
yeah.
that's true.
So
Very real.
is it possible that, let's assume that 1, 2 years, 3 years into, I opened this account, I'm not able to put funds into it for whatever reason,
Yeah,
and then suddenly maybe 2, 3 years down the line, I am financially stable, and then I decide to do a lump sum to make
that's
up
very
for these
possible.
years. Is it possible? Tell
That's
us
very
more.
possible. Yeah, it's possible to, okay, so now I got money, or I've not been putting money in the RSP for the past 5 years, and now I'm doing really well. And this year excuse me, and this year you want to put $5,000. That's totally doable. And in those years, in periods like that, the government also in a year like that gives you more than the regular $500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they could give you up to $1,000 for catch
Oh,
up because you weren't getting it, right?
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they also increase the portion. So in a year like that, even though the maximum should have been 500, which is 20% of 2.5, because you they could give you up to $1,000.
Oh, that's good.
So it's a brilliant idea if you ever have extra resources to try and catch up.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. Nice. Great to
Thank you
know.
for bringing that up.
Great to know. So, yes, we've spoken about RSP. We all know is an option. I want to believe that 99.9% of us know that it does exist and we can take advantage of it. But my next question is it enough? Is it enough? Looking at the reality of things right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I would just share a personal experience. I was sharing that with
Yeah, I was gonna
you
ask you to.
as well. That, and I think I even did it late, right? I think I
Hmm.
did it late. I
Hmm.
was sharing with you that when my son was in grade 10,
Yeah.
at that point I realized that, post-secondary school was coming faster than I was thinking. And
Hmm.
for me, I don't do last minute thing. I get anxious and anxiety
Hmm.
when I wait
Yeah.
for, towards the end before I begin to plan for things. So
Hmm.
I had always had conversations with my son on what do you want to study? What programs are you looking at? So I had an idea of the things he was considering to study in the university. And I also
Yeah.
had an idea of the universities he was considering.
He
So
wanted to attend.
yeah, so what I did was I sat down on my computer and I went into the school's websites of about 4 or 5 schools that I was
Yeah.
considering
Mm-hmm.
to look at the cost, excuse me,
Bless you.
the cost of, the program he was considering, right?
Yeah.
And what I did at the time was I just created an Excel sheet and I just put my son's name, whatever, whatever. Then I put the school, on each tab. I had, each of the schools, the programs, and I was just
Mm-hmm.
going there and just plucking numbers. Okay, this one
Yeah.
is going to be 20 something thousand every year for food, for tuition, for,
Yeah.
for accommodation. And I was putting it
Books.
in there, for 4 years. And I did that and I'm like, okay, excuse me. So we have about 4 universities and we had kind of an idea of how much this was going to cost us. I just did an email to my husband. I attached
Here's your
the
copy.
documents. I said, FII, for your information, oh, this
Mhm.
is what we're going to be dealing with
Oh
in the
Lord.
next 2 years at
Hmm.
that time, right? And it was for us then to now sit down and look at what we had in our RESP and then what we had in our savings, and if we needed to do something extra,
Yeah.
because we knew that us qualifying for OSAP was very slim.
Which is
Okay,
the goodness of God.
so OSAP wasn't on the table for us.
Hmm.
So it was already taken out off the table. So we're considering, okay, based on other things right now, the
Yeah.
RESP, this is what we're going to be spending. Are we able to afford, this costs? And if we're not able to, what plan do we
What do
have?
we do?
What
You
do we
know
do?
what you did? You did the job of a financial planner. I know you did
You're rubbing off
great.
me.
Oh, you did awesome. So, because that's essentially what financial planners do for people, because it's not just retirement, right? You plan for goals. Okay, our child might want to go to college to study X, Y, and Z at in 5 years, in 10 years. Let me make you laugh. My kid this morning, I said where the webinar is about college funding. And she said, "Oh, so I want to go to Harvard." I was like, "Okay,
Oh,
you know what? Can we please do Canadian universities? I beg you." I was
international.
like, I know. I said, please, can you go to school where you're a citizen and we'll just do one third? Because it could be three times very quickly, even if it wasn't Harvard. I think you're like, just my love. So, and that's the reality. Because my question to you is, for your son, how much first year for Citizen in Canada? How much is the first year fee?
So I think it depends on the school. Now we're
For
looking at
right now,
programs.
for him and his program, how much is year one?
It would be in the 20 something thousand
As a
kind of,
citizen,
and
you know,
yeah,
as a
yeah,
citizen.
as a
And
citizen.
by the time he's done 4 years, that's $80,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And even if you max the government grants, if you just do RESP and just do maxing government grants, you're not putting a lot of money aside. It's for you to have enough for that, you have to be doing some serious
Extra. Yeah.
some serious
That is
extra.
exactly where we are
But
going
like
to.
I said, if if the money is there to compound, the magic of compounding will blow your mind. And again, I'm going back. And for me, that is why you can't say that enough. Because it helps us to get money we didn't have to put from our pockets. I don't know how to explain it. So let's say you put $500. I wish I had run the numbers so I had numbers to give you. Let's say you put $500 in 10 years without adding anything, right? That $500 would give you more than 10 times itself. And so if we can, I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, so I'll stop.
No,
I'll
it's
stop
good.
talking
It's good
about
because
that. But
that's why we
because
are here to create that awareness, right?
that's where that free money, that's how our non-African colleagues do it. That's how they do it. Of course, some of them earn well, some of them have trust funds, which we don't. Their grandfather has put in the college education money, but some of them don't. Some of them are just like us. And
Hmm.
what they do is they lock into compounding, investment compounding, and it works magic. Okay. Now, let's assume all that didn't happen. The first step, like my sister said, is how much do we need? Where are we now? How much might we need? Okay. And so let's say you tell yourself we would need $20,000, and for Africans, we want our kids to go to medical school.
We want all our kids to be professionals.
We want medical school. We
I
want
just
law school. You want those professions that so that they don't have to try too much. They can easily make money and earn well. And that's our dream for them. But we have to pay up. We have to pay up first before
hmm
they bring it and maybe, give you some when they start making the big bucks.
hmm
It's a lot of money we're talking about.
yeah.
And so the next thing we might want to look at is, what are the scholarship options available? And scholarships it's the bread and butter of my sister here. That's it's our bread and
I
butter.
cannot
LSI.
I cannot
I
overemphasize
can't
it.
even talk about scholarships. You're the pro, so please.
I cannot overemphasize it. And I say it
Yeah.
to my community a lot. And we don't take advantage of this. And I don't know why. You know, yes, I realize that we can be busy and a lot can be happening. And sometimes I'm sorry to say, but the kids of these days, they just need some little bit of pushing.
A nudge,
Yeah,
extra
and as
nudge.
parents, sometimes we're tired of pushing, but if you sit down and listen to what we have conversed today, you would realize that whether you like it or not, 80% falls on you as a parent because you want to give your child the best. You want them to go to the best school. You want them to actually acquire that knowledge and have that dream program that you as a parent and the child as well wants to have. Then you're
Yeah.
struggling with financing. Like I say to people when someone's asking me, someone saw the flyer and said, "Oh, my child is still in kindergarten. Do we need?" I
Oh,
said, "Yeah, you
lucky
need to
you.
join."
Let's
I
start.
said, "You need to join because the earlier you
Kindergarten,
begin to get
yay.
aware of this
Mm-hmm.
information, the best for you.
Yeah.
Because now you can, after listening to this session, you can then sit down and say, okay, my child is still in kindergarten. So let's assume that this child wants to become a doctor tomorrow. How much right now? AI will help you. How much will it cost me? To become a medical professional will take you an average of 7 to 9 years,
Yeah.
depending on what um,
The
specialization,
specialization. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
7 to 9 years, how much will it cost me averagely to
Yeah.
train a child in the university to become a lawyer or a doctor or a
An
scientist or an
engineer.
engineer, a
Yeah.
computer scientist? You have an idea. It's telling you between $80,000 to $200,000 to $300,000. And now we're talking of your child being a home student, a citizen of a particular
A
country,
citizen.
and they're
Yeah.
able to pay the home fee. Now, let's assume that this child is considering going to Harvard, like
Harvard.
Tony's daughter just told her this morning.
As
So
from your mouth to the ears of God.
you are considering international fees,
Hmm.
student fees. So you're looking at, okay, based on what I'm earning right now, projection into what I have into RESP, can I afford these fees? Now, we've spoken about OSAP earlier, so you understand. And I mean the provincial fund and grants
Provincial
and all
student
that,
aid. Yeah.
the aid. Now, can I afford this money? Will I be able to finance my child? And some of us have two. Some of us have three children. Some of
Oh.
us have them back to back. There's just 1 year gap.
No
So
gap.
as one person is entering university
True.
this year, another one is entering next year. Now you're
Yeah.
looking at it. Can I afford
Back to
this?
back.
And I say to people, the easiest way, free money, is scholarship.
Scholarships.
Scholarships are the easiest way. And it's just that the truth is, it is not, it's hard work.
It's
Let me
hard
put
work
it
and
that
it's
way.
not last minute.
You
In
can't
fact,
do
none of the
last
ones we're
minute.
saying are last minute. Yeah.
You can't do last minute. You can be not serious about it.
You have to be strategic.
You have to be strategic. You have to
Yeah.
begin to prepare your child as early as when they're in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
That I can tell you. And for
Mm.
us Africans, we concentrate so much on the academics portion. And I say to
I was
you,
waiting for you to say that.
academics is amazing. I know that we're brilliant. Our kids are doing excellently well in schools. I see the 90s and the 80s and the 100, which is
Yeah.
great. But that alone will not fetch you a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say this, like, I cannot overemphasize it. Academics alone will not fetch you a scholarship.
So, like people, and I think it's also because of like where we come from. Scholarships were usually for the brightest and the smartest, right? But
Yes,
here it's based on leadership, volunteering, community involvement, which you
yes.
cannot do in a snap. You have to build it
You
up.
have to build it up. You have to build it up. Get your child involved. I say it all the time to every parent that cares to listen to me. Get your child involved within the community. 40 hours volunteer hours is the minimum.
Oh boy.
I know that that is what is required, but it should be the
Wow.
minimum. It should be
Hmm.
the minimum. Get
Because
them
you're
out there.
competing with others for the
Yes,
same
for
funding.
the
I
same
hear you.
funding.
Hmm.
You're applying for a scholarship that 1,000 people would apply for, and everybody has 40 hours volunteer hours, and everybody has A's and 90s.
Oh
What
Lord.
distinguishes your
What makes
child?
you different? Yeah.
I've heard of situations where a child have applied for scholarship and they looked through the application. It was an interview and they just picked the 1,500 hours volunteer hours and asked, how I see you said you've done 1,500 volunteer hours. And the child, he just brightened up because he did it. And they were like, tell us about it. And he was talking
Wow.
on and on and on about how he goes in every morning, about what he does. And that was what got this child a full 7 years medical college scholarship.
Who
7
doesn't
years.
want that? That is Wow, who doesn't want that? That's like, forget everything we've been talking about.
I've heard of situation where this child has, all the excellent grade and all that, and the
Hmm.
only thing that was picked in the application of, oh, you say you do makeup?
Hmm.
Tell me about it.
Oh,
And the child
wow.
just started talking about, oh, I do makeup, and I do the blushes, I even make money out of it. I started when I was in grade 10. I was like, wow. And can I show you some of the makeups I did for my friend? And that brought
Pictures.
the child into medical school.
No kidding.
I'm telling you.
See,
I've
I knew
had a
you were the pro on
situation.
this one.
So you have to then sit down as a parent and look at what are those niche that my child has. How do I help them
Mm-hmm.
to build it? How do I help? What strategy do I have?
Yeah.
And also begin to get them involved in the school community, get them involved
In
in the
their
local
schools.
community
Yeah.
where you are. We have the internet, social media is there. I tell people all the time, I can't remember the last time my child paid for summer um
Camp.
summer camp. I can't I can't remember. I can't remember. And they do, I get them engaged every summer from one program to the other. There are free programs out there, leadership programs, YMCA running programs, this non
Hmm.
for profit running programs. There are a lot of them. Let your child get involved. Let them begin to
And
build their skills.
volunteer some
Let them
hours during the
volunteer
program. Yeah.
everywhere. You see anything, do your due diligence as a parent. I don't send my kids to just any, I have to confirm that I'm
Of
comfortable with what's
course.
going on there.
The
And then
values.
I look through and I'm like, you're going. Sometimes my child fights back. She tells me, Mom, you should let me know before you register me for these things. I'm like, you will go.
It is my life.
And you know what? One day I put it on my DP. I said sometimes I should do the before we go for this event and the after. Because when we're going, she's all frowny. She's upset with me. Sometimes I have to bribe with Martins and Starbucks to get her there. But when we're coming back, she's
Whatever works.
excited. She's laughing. Oh my
She
God,
loved
that was
it.
an amazing event. Oh my God, I loved it. And this is even the event organizers, they know they will give them a free $20 gift card, $50. And my child is so excited about those things. Oh God, if you see the stack of gift cards right now from different programs that she attends. So I don't even need to worry about
That's
giving her money.
financial savviness. Yeah.
Yeah, she has it. Stack of gift cards. And she's like, Mom, can I go to the mall? I want to spend my $25. I want to spend my $50 gift. They they give them these things for free.
Hmm.
Get them involved. I told my child, I said, you've been doing this thing for a while now. I need you. And I told her, not just her, I told her and her friends, because sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
volunteer with me as well. I said, get an Excel sheet.
Hmm.
And every time you go for these activities, when you get back home, you would put everything you did today. I worked with
Start
A,
logging it.
log it
Thank
in.
you for
I,
doing that.
I
Yeah.
worked with ABC today. It was a 5 hours volunteer. These were the things that I did. These were the things that I learned. If you got a badge, put it there because these are the
Yeah.
things that you would then have to put in your application
Because
when
at
it's
the
time
time
to
of the
apply.
application, you're not going to remember the details.
Yes.
That's a brilliant idea. I really love that. And I as you were talking, I just remembered what she did earlier this year. Was it earlier this year, late last year for the little kids face painting and stuff?
Yeah.
And the moment you told me about it, I was like, can you bring the kids? I said, oh wow, this is adding to her experience and the things she
Yes.
does, right? Because we're gonna be applying for college soon.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's another example. I didn't even remember. I know she loves
Yeah.
kids. I know she works with kids. I know she enjoys it. She
Oh,
does
she
it
loves kids. And kids
effortlessly.
love her.
In church, they call me out every time in church and say, your child is a natural. She's a leader. She's just how old? She's in her early teens, but she's already leading a group in church,
Yeah.
taking care of kids. And I know that this is a strength she has. And I just said, I'm like, how do we build this strength for her? So I
Yeah.
told her, I said, go put something together, put a write up, let me see it. And I would support you with funding. Put something together with the kids. And she came up with the idea. And we did all the shopping. And I'm like, we'll do it every quarter because I cannot afford
The
to be
kids
doing it every
loved it.
month. And the
The
kids had
kids
fun,
loved
right?
it.
These are
They
things that
did.
she begins to then plan and use in the future when she wants to apply. for
Yeah.
scholarship. I've had people come to me
Yeah.
to say, I love ABC, but they don't have it in my school. Start your own club.
Create your own event.
Parents,
Oh,
encourage
yeah,
them
to that, one
to
of my
start a
other
club.
friends in British Columbia had daughters about your daughter's age too. She started a program to teach kids art, to teach kids to paint, teach kids to draw. And she also does it in the community center around where they live. Nothing expensive, but this is all putting the records together. So
Yes,
even if sometimes you're lucky your school has a program that you can do, but if they don't, it's a beautiful society. It doesn't cost
yeah.
so much.
Start
And
something.
call your friends and family to hand over kids to you if you need kids.
Yeah. Start something. Help your child put that proposal together. Let her book an appointment with a guidance counselor or a principal to say, I have an idea. I have
Hmm.
something that I've been thinking about. I've put something together. Can you have
Yeah.
a look at it? I need a sponsor. I want to start a club. I want to start this. These are things that would create pathway for them when they begin to apply for scholarship. Because the truth is, there's no scholarship that will not ask you, how have you benefited your community? No matter how little
Mm.
you are,
I'll
no matter
little.
how. I remembered my daughter when she graduated from middle school to high school. They gave them a form in school and said, fill out all the things you've done, right? And
Wow.
she was just all the activities she was going for, I was taking her to, and she got something medal that was given to her by the ministry, and they gave her money,
Wow.
not just the
Oh,
medal. They gave
wow.
her a check to say that you have been active within your community at
Within
a
your
young age.
community.
And I think it was just three of them. It came out in the papers. The
Yeah,
school
I
picked it
remember.
up.
I
And I
remember.
had
I
to say,
remember
please, can
you
you get
sent
me
me
a
the
copy of that?
Hamilton Spectator.
Yeah, and can you get me a copy of that paper because I want to keep it for her so that when she grows. And these are not rock science. I'm not doing anything extra. It's just
Extraordinary.
looking out. When you're active on social media, look out for these things. I know that it can be time consuming for us as parents, but let them
It
participate.
is worth it.
Let
It's
them go out.
absolutely
Let
worth
them.
it.
It is. And another
Yeah.
part, there are three parts to scholarship. And I can talk all day on this.
I know.
Let's
I'm not going to let you keep talking about scholarship
give
because
me
there are
one
so many videos. You've done so many episodes on scholarship.
on
Please, guys, check
scholarship.
out those ones because
Yeah,
we're running
please
out
go
of time.
watch.
I just took
Go
over your
watch.
program.
Go watch. And just lastly, I also want to talk about the writing part. And that's where
Mm.
you see a lot of our teenagers get tired. Are we going to need to write an essay? I'm tired. I have
Oh.
schoolwork. They need to write an essay. And what I did with my child, it was a struggle,
Mm.
but I did it and it worked for him. Was immediately he got into high school, I started prepping him. I said, go and do a personal statement about
Mm.
yourself. Personal statement, there's a 80% probability that every scholarship will
We'll
ask for
ask
a
for
personal
that.
statement. So what he did then was, it was a struggle, but he did it. He
Mm.
did a personal statement, and I went through it, and I like, you need to correct this. So we started having a
And that's just
portfolio.
as he entered high school.
Yes, he had a portfolio, so it was easier for him when those scholarship. It was just tweaking. It got to a stage where we were just tweaking essays. We didn't need to start
Wow.
from scratch
For
because we
any.
had things that we had already written. We had things that were already
Yeah,
put out there. Tell me
out
about
there.
yourself. Tell me how you have contributed to your community. Tell me one good thing, that you have done to better your community. And I'll tell him, just go and write about it. And he will write and we'll go through it and I'll do the correction and he would mumble and grumble and all. And we're like, you shall do it. We
It's
do it, we
okay.
keep it. Then suddenly we'll see the scholarship come out and it will be exact same thing or very similar. And all we're doing is changing two or three paragraphs. That
Yeah.
writing, there's nothing we can do about it. Some people
Mm.
will get professional. So I know that this scholarship, I see them everywhere where they say, we'll help you apply for scholarship and
We'll
you
help you
pay
with your
us,
essay.
we'll help you with your essay. But also, because there was a time I had an interview with a couple when my son was just, pushing me. I told him, I said, everything these guys are telling me are things that I know. And they've told you they're not going to write your essays for you. They won't. They've just told us that, and we're going to be paying them 5,000, 6,000. I'm like, why? They're not going to write it. They said you're going to write your essays yourself, but they're also only going to go through it. I'm here to
Guide
go through
you
your
and check
essay
it.
with you. So we're not going to give anybody 5,000 or 4,000 to do that.
We'll put that
Okay,
in the
so
investment account.
yeah. So please, the best way the best way we can sit down and we are relaxed, and our kids also are having fun in school. We're not thinking of how do we pay the next fee, the scholarship, and the thousands of them out there,
Wow.
especially for the Black community. Even in the universities that your kids are going to, for their entry year, you would see 10,
So all
15
sorts of
scholarships
awards and
that
scholarships.
are
Yeah.
just for Black children,
Hmm.
that are just for Black children. So as
Yeah.
we're pursuing academic excellence, let's also be pursuing other things by the side that makes it a total package. Sorry, I went so hard on that, but
It's your passion.
I needed to talk
It
about it.
has to come through. You're very
Yes,
passionate about that, and
yeah.
you have this wealth of knowledge about it. So
So
absolutely.
yes, so
The
it's
next
important.
thing is how else can we fund
Yeah,
student work?
yeah.
Student work. That's the next thing we have to talk about. So let's say we got partial scholarship because of course everybody doesn't get a full scholarship. And so we've gotten some OSAP or zero OSAP. We've gotten some money from RESP and we've gotten some kind of partial scholarship. What else can we do? And that next thing for me would be your kids can get a job,
Yep.
and students are allowed to work a certain number of hours per week. Some of us might be worried, oh, isn't it going to affect school? I don't want my kid to work. I just want them to focus on school. I would say, I would say that working while they're in school starts adding to their life and work experience.
I agree.
One of my neighbors, she's a CPA, and she said, "Oh, I have like 25 years of experience." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're just 40." He's like, "Yeah, because I started working at 16." I was like, "Oh, okay." But she started working the moment she got into college with an accounting firm as a just not anything accounting. But that's the way they see it here. It starts adding to your years of experience. So when you even finish school, and this is not just financial benefit, right? When you finish school, you're not green. You have years of experience already, and you were making money. So I think we should also encourage our kids to get some kind of jobs, some kind of job in school, even when you can afford to pay for the entire fees. Now, you have a child that's already in school. Do you have something to say about that?
Okay, so for me as well, I 100% agree, and I find out that within our community as well, we have this restraint when it comes to our kids working. I've had various parents with various opinions and ideology. Like you said, some would say, "Oh, I want the child to concentrate on studies," and yeah, things like that. I would say that your child can concentrate on studies and still work.
Yeah.
For me, so I think another thing is know your child, right?
True.
It's
That's
not
a
a one
parent's okay.
it's not a one size fit
Feed
all
all.
for all
Hmm.
kids. Now, for my son, my daughter is just we're just putting a resume together. She's 14, and we're praying that she gets something this summer, right? Because we also have had a session on this as well. So if you go back to our old video, you would see us talk about, and we had actually the teens talk about how they got their first job, what kind of job it's available. We talked about the government statutory age where the child is allowed
Can
to
work.
work, how many hours you're allowed to work, and things like that. So we have an old video that addressed that. Now, my daughter's 14, and we're trying to see if she can get something this summer to start. My son also started working early. Now, it wasn't a situation of I can't afford to take care of him or feed him or whatever.
Hmm.
But we needed him to begin to grow. And I want to tell you, it was one of the best decisions we made as parents. I remember when my son started, my mom, she was visiting. It's like, how can you people be doing this? This is cruel. How can we allow him to be working? Is there no food in the house? I'm like, no, I know that
This is
mentality
not
that we
about
bring from.
food.
It's not about food. When he comes back, my mom will go and hug him
He's
and
so
like, my son,
tired.
you have really maltreated this child. That was the way she was looking at it.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I said, no. And it helped him in every way, maturity, building values. being independent. Like some days ago, just to share, he just woke up, picked up his health card and said, I'm going for my medicals. I will do my dental. Then when I do my glasses. And I'm like, yeah,
Check
this
you
is,
out.
I didn't need to push or
No,
say you need to do this.
that
And I
independent,
was
that autonomy. Yeah,
he helped him grow, that I can tell you. He
yeah.
was responsible. He knew the value of money.
That's
He
what I was
knew,
gonna say. It's also gonna help them with financial savviness and education.
yes. So it was a good thing for us. And like I said, know your child. During school year, I did not allow him to work. Myself and my husband said no because it was doing a lot during the school year.
At the school.
He had so many activities
And
in
that,
the
are you
school,
referring to high school?
high school. I'm referring to high school. So he had so much activities in the school and outside the school.
Hmm.
And adding working during the school we felt would have been too much. So
Hmm.
for summer, we allow him, when summer is done, we say go back to every other thing but not
Yeah,
work,
school. Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
know students that they work during school, and
And
I
we're
mean high
okay.
school, they do 2 or 3 times, they get their shifts 2 or 3 times
Hmm.
in a week. And then when it's summer, they do the full 3 months or 2 months of staying at home work. So know your
Oh.
child, know
Hmm.
their strengths, know what they can handle. Because
Yeah.
as much as we're trying to build and help them, we also do not want to break them. We also do not want to overwhelm them,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think what you said about knowing your child is very important. But I think what holds us back, and this is just my opinion, for when a child is in college to encourage the child to work and earn some of that college fee is because we just think it's solely our responsibility. And because we think there's some shame to making the child fund some of that education.
I
And
agree.
I think we need to remove that shame. There is nothing, and you don't value something that doesn't cost you anything.
Yep.
They need to know the worth and the value of this education. It's not even good that it just falls on their laps. So that's another plus thing for me, in my opinion, about letting the child work while they're in school, even when you can afford to fund it 100%.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing that up, Tony. And I wanted to say that I have family friends that their kids are working. And when they work doing some, even from secondary school, I'm not talking of university alone right now,
Yeah.
whatever they make, they don't touch it because, of course, I'm providing everything for you. I'm fueling your car, you're eating,
Yeah.
you have clothes. I'm responsible for you as a parent. So when you work, you keep the money. When you're done with your work, we look at how much you made. Let's
Hmm.
assume throughout that time you were able to put together like $10,000
Yeah.
or $8,000. Then we say, okay, you deserve part of that money, and they give maybe 1,000 and say, whatever you do with it, I don't care. But this 7,000 is going towards your education.
Yeah.
Towards your education, because I don't want you to be done with school. Then we're thinking of you have loans to pay,
Yeah.
you're keeping debt on yourself. No.
Yeah,
I,
that's the,
I
the
know
that's the
kids that,
worst part. It's the
yeah,
paying for school when you're done. That's the
yeah,
harder one.
yeah. I know kids that are like that, and they're good with it, and they're excited to walk. Like, I have to pay my fee. I have to, and they're very
It gives
excited
you,
about it.
I
Yeah,
think it boosts your sense of worth, self-worth, and esteem. That's the child.
yeah,
It's just really good for them, I think.
yeah. Yeah, and not that all the money they make, and if you leave them, they want to buy the latest shoes and clothing, and just have fun. And that's where financial planning also comes in. We need to begin to make them
Teach them.
responsible
Yeah.
financially. One of
Yeah.
my our LSI ambassadors, when we had one of our sessions, she came and she said it. She said, I've been working since I was 14, and my dad is always like, you cannot touch that money. You cannot touch that money, right? And they are looking at the account to make sure that the money is intact. Even
Is
if you
there.
want to remove the money, you have to ask. And at that time, she said she was upset and all that, but now she's appreciating him. for
Yeah.
what he did at that time because it helped her
Yeah, I
in
agree with
managing
you,
funds.
right? Like one of our family friends, he used to live with us. He's an international student, and now he's he's gotten to the point where he's able to not just take off his food and his accommodations, and so what his parents have to send from Nigeria is now a lot less because he is that responsible to say, okay, you know what, I don't need this much. I just need some of the fees,
Yeah,
right? So there is no shame
yeah, yeah. So
because we are often doing this at the expense of our retirement because some even though we don't say it, we are a lot of us are maybe our parents retirements, like you are the ones taking care of your parents, and so maybe somewhere in the back of your mind it's like, oh, don't worry, they're going to be fine, I want them to do well, and then I know they'll take care of me. Even though you don't tell yourself that, it might be there at the back of your mind, but you would give them such a gift if they don't have that burden on them at that time. So if they can work now and pay some of the fees, and you're putting some of the money in your own retirement, again, me and retirement savings, and you're putting some of the money in your retirement, you're also giving them as a gift because they wouldn't need to worry about you at that time.
yep, yep,
Anyway,
yep.
we
So
wanted to
yes,
talk about borrowing, line of credit, military education, and
yeah.
all that. I don't know time.
So there are other options. You can borrow you can use your line of credit, but like we have said, this will also come with interest that would require you to pay
It
back.
should be the last
It should be
resort.
last options, yeah. Borrowing should be last option. And strategies, don't wait till the last minute. We can't overemphasize it. Don't wait till when your child is in grade 12 or grade 11 to begin
Yeah,
to think of how to fund their higher education. The earlier you begin to think about it and you begin to put in place structures, the better for you. Take advantage of as many free funding as you can
as you
get,
can.
right?
Yeah.
And then Tony had mentioned we have, I'm not sure, a lot of people in our community are not aware, but if your child joins the military, they also have access to free funding. We'll be having someone from the armed forces come speak very soon in the next couple of weeks and tell us about their programs and how it works and how we can take advantage of it as a community. You
And when we hear military, should we think war front?
No, don't think of, and that's one of that's one of the reasons why we are bringing them to come in,
I'm
because as
like, oh
African
no.
parents, the minute we hear military, my child is going to fight in one country. That's really not it all the time. So they're going to come in and they're going to give us as much information as possible so we can also take advantage of things like that. T
And so
Star,
one last thing that I want to say, and okay, one last thing I want to say, and please don't get mad at me for saying this, is if you've explored every avenue to get your child educated in Canada or in the Western world, and it seems like it's impossible or it might kill you. I schooled in Nigeria. I turned out fine. It is not bad to think of other countries where they would get a similar level of education at a lower fee. Even if it's the first degree and then they come back here and do a second one, a master's or something. But let's keep our minds open. Let us stop the shaming. That's my last word.
thank you so much, Tony. And I wanted to read a comment. We have T Star said,
We got
I
comments?
value, yeah, I value starting the kids early too. It's also a life skill that schools don't get to teach our kids. So yeah, she was
Mm,
talking about when we're talking about them working early
yeah,
so that they can help
yeah.
build skills. So yes, thank you so much, T Star, for your comment. And yes, and also when Tony was talking about trying other options, we were going to talk about international student. Now, whatever information we give on this platform, we're not experts. We just
No.
try and come in and create awareness and pass
Yeah.
general information that are out
Yeah,
there.
also because we don't know, even though I'm a financial planner and a CBA, I don't know your personal situation. So
Yes,
it's of a general education
yes,
nature. Yeah.
exactly. And I was going to say that for international students, especially for students that are their parents are here on temporary visas such as work permits, study permits, and the likes, and they are now thinking of post-secondary school education.
Hmm.
And because of the peculiarity of their situation, even though they're here, their parents are working or schooling,
Hmm.
they will be required most time to pay the international fee, which might be
Wow.
triple of what a Canadian or a
That's,
permanent resident
yeah,
would
it's like
pay.
three times
Now,
usually.
please, I want you to know that there are some schools that allow you to pay um, what a PR or permanent resident will pay. Their requirements, their um, policies, each school's policies are different. Please make your
Hmm.
research before your child applies to the school or accept that offer. Make a research, do your email, walk into the school, make inquiries.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to pay?
Ask
Um,
questions. You
Ask
never
questions.
know.
Some of
Yeah.
them, if you have an open work permit, they allow you to, and you're working and you can prove that, they allow you to pay citizen fee, and that's, and some, if you have a closed work permit and you can also prove, they also allow you to pay. So you
I think
have to
that's
then do your
beautiful.
homework and look for those schools, because I've heard a lot of stories of kids not being able to go to school because of course the fees are enormous
It's a
and it's a
lot.
struggle. So
Yeah.
please find out. There are colleges that allow it in Canada, there are universities that allow it in Canada, but you have to do your findings and then take advantage of those opportunities as well. We were supposed to spend 1 hour. We've done a good 1 hour. We're having fun. Thank you so much, Toyin, for coming
Thank you for
on
having
board
me.
today. And I have a comment from Oluwaseun Olajide. Thank you so much, Bumi and Toyin, for this information.
Oh,
I
you're
truly learned
welcome.
a lot, a lot.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
for
much
watching us.
for joining us, and for
Just
those that will watch later on as well. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you, Tony, for coming
thank you for
to
having me,
you
sis.
know be here as our guest and always ready to give us your time and um, your craft for free. So we really
It's
appreciate it.
because we have to make it as a community. I
I
know, I
know.
mean, I know the sacrifices we have all made to be
Yeah,
here. So
yeah,
it's also helping each other make it work.
yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you next month. We're having some medical students for University of Toronto coming to give us information on
Ooh,
how to become a doctor, what is required. As Black
wow.
students, I hear a lot of stories all the time that there are struggles out there. So they're going
Hmm,
to be giving you tips and strategies on how they did it, what they
hmm.
did, how it worked for them. And yeah, so we would
I'll
make
be on the lookout for that one.
will come out soon. So thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. And thank you, Tony. Bye, everyone.
Bye.